Welcome back to another video here in BMX Streets. Today we're going to go over some tips, tricks and hidden features the game doesn't tell you about. So let's get into it. If you've been playing BMX Streets for a while, you've probably seen this section in the menu that shows you how to do most of the tricks. What it doesn't tell you is that if you hold the trick and then rotate the right stick around another 90 degrees, you can actually tweak the tricks you're doing to style them out a bit more. Here's a couple of examples of a regular trick versus the tweaked version, so you can see it just kind of adds a little extra flavour. Sometimes, depending on the situation, the default version of the trick might actually look a bit better, like with X-ups you might prefer the straight version over the tweaked one. But it's another way to make your lines feel a bit more personal to how you want to ride, so try them out and see what you like best. Also, don't sleep on the trampoline map if you want to just practice the trick inputs. It takes a little practice to time your jumps right, but it's a nice easy way to just focus on tricks without having to worry about pumping or positioning. Pumping tutorial linked in description. While we're on the subject, did you know you can actually hold a lot of the tricks after landing? This can be used to do some kind of pseudo flat ground, like endlessly spinning a toboggan around, or you could do it into some grinds for some pretty unique looking tricks. Could be as simple as X-up or no-handed grinds, or one of my personal favourites, pulling a Euro to do kind of a weird slide along the rail or ledge. I think this one looks pretty sick on walls as well. To hold tricks, just make sure you keep the bumpers or triggers held down after releasing the right stick, and the trick should stay as long as you hold it. Some tricks definitely work better than others for this, others kind of completely break the laws of physics, but either way it can be a lot of fun, so have a play with it and see what combinations you can find. Going back to the tricks menu, it doesn't actually list everything you can do. There are a couple of hidden tricks in this game, namely Footjam whips and hang fives. To do a Footjam whip, just hold the B or circle button, then press the right trigger at the same time. They can be a little bit fiddly to get them to look smooth, as they kind of have a habit of pulling you backwards after you've done them, so you'll probably want to play with the positioning a little bit. They can be done while in midair or in a grind as well, so go nuts. Okay, next up, hang fives. To do these, just press the left bumper while you're in a nose mani and your character will pop the front foot on the peg and hang the back foot off the side just like this. These look pretty sick if you can get the timing right and you can hop straight into them, but they are harder to control than a regular nose mani. If you turn too sharp, you'll be spinning around like a drunk Beyblade, so I highly recommend using really light touches on the left stick, or even just leaning using the triggers for even finer control. If you press the right bumper instead, you'll still move your front foot onto the peg, but you'll keep your back foot on the pedal. These are a lot easier to control, so it's worth thinking about changing over to these if you're trying to make a more controlled turn. You can press either bumper during a nose mani to switch between the two, but you can't take your front foot off the peg until you let go of the mani. There is actually a hidden grind in the game as well. The hidden grind in question is the pedal feeble. It's not listed in the tricks menu, but like me, you might have seen it pop up on your trick display before. In all honesty, I don't know if there's a consistent way to do them, as they've always kind of happened to me by accident. If there's no footage of me doing one here, you'll know why. But if anyone does know how to do these properly, let me know in the comments. While we're on rails, a recent-ish update actually added rail rides back into the game without you having to turn off grind assist. Apparently this used to be a feature back in the pipe days, and I think the earlier days of this game as well, but if you hold both triggers down together as you hop onto a rail, you should land with your wheels on it instead of it automatically pulling your pegs on for a grind. This still requires at least a little bit of precision, but it's pretty sick to have that as an option without having to turn off the grind assist if that's how you prefer to play. Another note on using the triggers, I touched on this a little bit in my last video, but you can use the triggers to lean left and right. Like I mentioned earlier, this can be useful when you want to turn a little more gently when in a mani, or you can use it at the same time as the left stick for tighter turns, which is really handy for carving tight corners in bowls or dirt trails. Leaning with the triggers is also how you can directionally hop onto or off of a rail or ledge. So if you want to hop to the right, lean with the right trigger, then hop. And the same for if you wanted to hop over the other side off of a rail or onto a ledge after a grind. Now this one is going to be a little more of a rare use case, but leaning can actually be pretty useful during a grind as well if you're going around a bend. So like for this tooth grind down the ledge on the spillway map, I had to turn the left stick one way to stop the back of the bike from swinging out too much, but lean the opposite way on the triggers to keep the front balanced on the ledge. Next up, let's talk about adding a bit more stees in the game, mostly to spins with this one. So best way I can show this is probably with a 360. I already made a short on this, but there are actually a few different ways to style one out. You can hold the right stick down mid-air to dip the back wheel and spin a bit faster. You can lean into it with the trigger before you hop. You could do a tuck up, a bar hug, a moto, or even a couple of grind inputs. One of my favourites is using the lucky grind input on the right stick to turn your front wheel for a real lazy kind of 360. Or use a kind of crank input but rotating it just a little bit further to give it this last second feel at the end. Or if you want to go a bit crazier on spins, you can lean into a nose or a fakie mani, turn into the spin and then hop as you start to turn, which gives you extra momentum for more like a flat 540. And another style tip that I'm probably overusing at the moment is holding down on the left stick after a landing to crouch down into it so the landing looks a little heavier, which can really add a lot of weight to bigger drops. But yeah, have a little play with this one, or even a combination of these, and see what you like the look of best. And finally, last tip for this one, whenever you load into a map, it's always worth pulling out the drone by pressing left on the D-pad and having a little explore from the air. You might find some cool angles or lines you didn't see before, or even completely hidden areas like this giant pool in the California Alpha map. Fingers crossed this area actually gets finished properly soon, because it's actually really sick to ride. So that's all my tips for this video. If you've got any I missed, feel free to drop them in the comments below, and share this with anyone you think might find it helpful. Otherwise, if you like this video, drop it a like, subscribe and ring the bell if you want to see more, and until next time, thanks for watching.